Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name is William. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be doing another flight here in the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan in Papua New Guinea. This flight's going to be a little bit interesting. We're leaving Taboobil. We'll be flying on to Telefomin, and then we have a return flight if we can get it in. Telefomin, short little dirt strip. It's really close, but it is on the other side of the mountains we had to fly over to get into Taboobil. So it'll be a little bit interesting as we're sitting at about 1,600 feet elevation, and we got to get all the way up over the mountains, about 13,000 feet for just a quick little 20-something mile hop. Should be fun either way. Yeah, anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the plane, get it started up. I hope you all enjoy. Alright everybody, welcome on board the Cessna 208. We're on the ramp here at Taboobil. Let's go ahead and go through, get the aircraft ready to start up. We got our parking brakes set. We'll put the prop to full, and we'll go ahead and set that there as well. Now then, let's open up the fuel tanks. Looks like we're clear all the way around us. Let's get the battery on, and we'll go ahead and turn the avionics on as well. Beacon light can go on since we're about to start up. Ignition's on normal. Let's see, let's go ahead and pull this up. We'll go fuel boost to norm as well. Alright, everything looks like it is good there. We're going to have a double check our fuel quantity once we start the FSEconomy client, because that will change the amount of fuel. So we'll come back through and do that in just a moment. But we should be good to go now for engine start, so let's click the starter. Let's make sure the prop's spinning. Got good prop RPM, oil pressure's coming up. Make sure it's out of the red zone there, and we'll go ahead and put the condition lever to low idle. Introduce the fuel, NG's rising, ITT's climbing. Oil pressure's now in the green, oil temperature in the green. Here, catch here in a second. We'll turn the starter off. Alright, there we go. Starter is off. We got everything looking good here. Good oil pressure, good oil temperature. We can pull that back. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and flip the avionics 2 on now, just so you can see what the flight looks like today. It's already set up in the GPS, so we're going out of here, like I said, about 1,500 feet, 1,600 feet elevation, up over these mountains, which are sitting, 10,000 feet plus, down into a valley, and that's Telefomin, for a little dirt strip that we're going to make our way into, and then potentially just doing the return flight. So I'm going to go through, set the aircraft up for our departure, and we'll be back whenever we're about ready to taxi and get on out of here. Alright, I think we are pretty much set for our departure. Let's go ahead and get the client open. The 208's available at Taboobil, so we'll go to the Flight tab, Actions, and Start Flight. Loading up basically nothing but stuff going to Telefomin, and then we do have stuff waiting to come back as well that will load up once we're there if we are able to make it in and can do the return flight. So we're good on this front. What we're going to go ahead and do now is just get our taxi light on. We'll go ahead and put pitot heat and stall heat on just to feel a little bit safer. Make sure we've got a decent trim setting in, and since we're not going very far, let's put our takeoff flaps out, and we'll go ahead and put the condition lever all the way forward now. Alright, so it's a left turn out of here. I think we're going to depart runway 14 at Taboobil just because of the clearance on the departure. We'll fly over the river and everything. It's just a little bit clearer. That's the way we took into the airfield for the same reason. It was just a little bit of a safer approach path, so plan to depart that way as well. I'll pull up and hold short of the runway. Doesn't mean we're going to have to go off to the right and back taxi back around. Do a turnaround just to depart out of here. Alright, so we are holding short. Let's go ahead and get the transponder on alt mode. We'll throw our strobes on, landing lights on, taxi light off. We have a heading mode armed, vertical speed armed, 600 feet per minute, and I have an altitude selected of 11,000 feet, but not really sure what we're going to have to do. We'll just see what it looks like as we're en route. It looks clear, so we're going to go ahead and take the runway, back taxi for runway 14 here at Taboo Going to try and rotate out today a little bit slower. We're going to do 75 knots and see how we get on with that. I'm sorry, not 75, 65 knots. And see how we get on with that. It's a little bit of a downsloping runway as well, kind of one of the reasons I picked 14. Not that this runway's terribly short or anything. Just work our way to the end and we'll do our turnaround. This is going to be an interesting flight for sure. All the way. Maybe we could kind of dogleg our way over here as we climb and then jump over. That might be more efficient than just circling. I have to kind of figure this out. Alright, turning around. Yeah, that's a much nicer view on our departure. We can just go straight out. Alright, so runway heading is in. If anything happens, we're just going to kind of continue on runway heading. Let's go ahead and get on the power here. I said we're going to look for 65 knots. Hold it nice and straight. Power set. Airspeed's alive. There's 65 knots. Rotate. Just leaped off the ground there. Nice and light today. Let's just keep climbing. We're well over 200 feet now, so let's pitch the nose down. Accelerate up above 80 with a positive rate. We'll get our flaps in. Take the drag off the airplane. We'll pitch back for 10 degrees. We keep our positive rate going. Even with increasing the pitch like that, once we get our flaps out, the drag falls off the plane. It's just a lot easier for it to gain some airspeed. I want to get it up to at least around 100 knots or so, so we can kind of see where we're going a little bit better, because I gotta really move the view up quite a lot just to see. Look at how gorgeous this is. A lot of clouds in the area for us today. I'm going to go ahead and put it on a flight level change mode. And we'll go ahead and click the autopilot on for the moment. Keep an eye on the flight director. It looks like it might go a little crazy, but I think they're going to meet in the middle. You don't have to worry about it too much. Alright, so we're clearing the Taboo area off to the southeast. And we're climbing. We got flight level change mode set, 97 knots, close enough to 100. That'll work for me. We're going to keep the power in because it's going to be basically directly off of our power setting. And it looks like we can work to the left here a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. It's kind of into this area on the map. So let's put this over to a heading of about 110. Let's see how this looks. I don't mind skimming the top of these ridge lines at all. I just want to make sure that we can at least see through the clouds. I think if we hop over this and then over that, because that's about where we need to be going. Alright, let's bring it left even further. Let's go 070. Let's try and get an idea of what this looks like. And we have plenty of fuel. If we need to just turn around and come back for any reason or anything like that, we'd be fine. Yeah, so if we cut even further left, so we want to avoid this peak and we want to work into this area. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hand fly the plane here. It's a nice short flight. I mean, even at this slow speed, it's going to be less than 15 minutes on the way there. So we're going to point it this direction. We will sync up the heading. And we'll let the autopilot take over once more. We'll go ahead and actually just make it nice, even. Oh, synced it again. 035, nice, even. Yeah, right in the middle, 035. These peaks over to the right seem really tall and very close to us, whereas we can kind of work our way in, continue climbing, and have good visibility of the tops of the mountains directly in front of us. When we work to the left a little bit more, it'll be a little bit lower. We've got a pretty decent climb rate. If I wanted to, I could get it a little bit better. We could slow down and continue the climb. Or just cover less distance forwards as we climb higher. Just help us out with this, but I think we're going to be doing okay here. And once we get around this bit of clouds, maybe we can cut back to the right and start going a little bit more on course. But we are making our way. We're already through 7,000 feet. I'll feel a lot better if we get about another 3,000 feet. This is one of those, you had to tell somebody oh, well, I'm going to go hop in the plane. I'm just taking it about, 25 miles, 30 miles. Be like, wow, that's overkill. You're going to take a plane for that? You show them this terrain. Like, yeah. I don't even want to know how long it would take to get between these 2 points. I'm sure there's not a road you could just hop in or hop on and make your way. Alright, let's see if we can get an idea of what it looks like. Too much cloud to cut to the right through there. It kind of looks like it's clearing up. Maybe if we get over this one, this ridgeline right in front of us, which is looks like one of the taller ones kind of in our area. And then we could make our turn to the right and work down into Telefomin, hopefully. We do have the synthetic terrain on the G1000, so we can actually see relative to where we are. We're climbing. If our momentum stays up and everything, nothing happens, we're clear of this terrain here. Very useful, but I don't necessarily want to rely on it when we could use our eyes. Make sure we're safe-ish around here. Alright, so I can see this ridgeline top now, and we could actually go ahead and Let's go ahead and activate the nav mode. It's going to bring us to the right about 30 degrees. We're almost at 10,000 feet. So 1,000 feet left to go in the climb. It's really just the altitude we had to climb to get over this major ridgeline. So it's turning us on course. It looks like we got a big cloud in between us and that airfield. So we're a little bit I think that might be our airfield right there. So I think yeah, this is pretty crazy. We're going to basically want to just drop right in. That way we make sure we clear these clouds. Let's make sure we pull the power back just a little bit. It's basically going to be the same thing, getting back in and out of Telefoam and to work our way back into Boobil if that's what we're doing. Let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off. If what I found is correct, Telefoam is sitting right around 6,000 feet. So at least that'll cut out a good chunk of the altitude we had to gain coming out of Boobil on the way out. But it's going to kind of put us in the same position of just having to dive back down into Boobil. So we'll snake our way through these clouds, kind of shoot the gap between these two right here. What is it? I believe it's runway 04 and 22. So if I can kind of get this thing trimmed out the way I want. Let's go ahead and set 040. So it looks like that is going to be our ideal choice. Instead of coming in off of the side of a mountain. Just going to mean we're going to commit early and we're basically going to say we're going to land it. So I think it butts up right up against, I think this is our field right here. Right up against these mountains. Absolutely beautiful. The clouds are all parted around it as well, so it makes for nice, bright, beautiful little airport. Tons of jungle all around. It's at about 6,000 feet. We're going to keep working our way down. I believe this is the field for sure. That looks like a nice dirt strip. You see all these little airfields around here on the map. And yeah, from looking at it here, we're landing runway 04. That is, what a cool little area. That is going to be our option. Upslope, And yeah, it's gonna. If we're gonna have to commit to it early, like I said, but. Alright, we need to get on top of our airspeed, otherwise we're going to have to do a circuit around this thing, which may not be a bad idea anyways. Let's go ahead and pitch back, get us below 150. Alright, there we go. Take off approach flaps. 125, we can go flaps full. Let's go ahead and pitch for that. 125, full flaps. Nice short flight. Alright, if I cannot get what I think is a little bit more established here in about a mile, we're going to break off. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Just need to lose a little bit of altitude and we can get on top of our speed. A little bit closer to the runway. It's actually already looking really good. Yep, we're going to go ahead and commit to this. Looks like we got a tree just off to the right side.
500.
Wind's kind of coming off of the mountains there on the left, it looks like. Not much, but it is kind of shearing around just a little bit. It's giving us a little bit of turbulence. Let's make sure we stay to the left of that tree. We're a little fast. Drop about 10 knots or so. Let's go ahead and pitch up a little bit. Add some power in. Alright, short final. Pull the flaps up, second the wheels touch, and keep some pressure on the yoke, back pressure. Let's go ahead and roll out towards the end here. And we'll pull in onto what looks like the little bit of a ramp we got. Alright everybody, welcome to Telefomin. A cool little area. First, it feels like proper Papua New Guinea airfield we've visited. Alright, so basically all we're going to do here on the ground is log the flight here on FSEconomy. So I already hit the parking brake. And there it goes. So information, the aircraft is now available on the ground at Telefomin. We're going to be going right back. So really, I'm just going to kind of turn off the stuff I would turn off while we're sitting here on the ground for just a moment. I'm going to go through and get the aircraft set up for the return flight real quick, and we'll be ready to taxi on out of here and work our way back to Bubil. Alright, so we are about ready to get out of here. Get out of Telefomin and go back to Bubil. Just kind of taking a look around outside. The airfield isn't anything crazy. You wouldn't expect it to be. It's just a little dirt strip, but I mean, this location is really just gorgeous. So what we're going to do is we're just going to taxi all the way back up the end of the dirt strip here, do a 180, and we're going to take off on 2-2. Instead of 4, since we'll have the downslope, and obviously we don't want to take off into that mountain. That's kind of what I mean about these are going to have kind of one way in, one way out. I'm sure you could, if you really had to, make it work the other way, but it would be less than ideal. So let's go ahead and pull up the client once again. So it's on the ground here, still available. Telefomin, go flight, actions, and start flight. Make sure our passengers and a little bit of cargo are all loaded up there, going back to Bubil. Man, that's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. So we have a heading mode. We'll go ahead and arm it. It is set on 220 for the heading. So runway heading off at departure, a vertical speed set of 600 feet a minute. Just in case we have to, we could press the autopilot. We're going to climb good enough up to 10,500 is what I have set initially. We'll go ahead and hit the parking brake here. And let's get our strobe lights on. We're going to go ahead and get our landing lights on straight away. And we'll put our transponder in altitude mode. Almost said altimeter again. I think it's because I'm thinking of altitude mode. Alright, so let's clear this before we just start on out. Doesn't look like there's anything off to the left, or if there's anything off to the right, they're crazy anyways, so we'll start down. We are downsloping, so that should help us on departure, but still, just get all the room we can. We are at, I guess what I saw was maybe a little off, but we're at 5,000 feet. It's kind of, I couldn't find an official chart for the airport or anything like that. Might have to subscribe to something or one of the apps or whatever to get some decent charts for airfields around this area, if there are any anyways. But yeah, we'll just turn around up here, and we're at 5,000 feet now, so aircraft performance is going to be a little bit worse, but we should be just fine to get out and make our way back. Still going to be looking to rotate right around 65 knots. We're going to double check our trim before I start the takeoff roll here, because that is one thing I didn't do while we were sitting at the ramp, and should have. We'll line ourselves up here on this little bit of a path we've got. Alright, so let's take a look at the trim. Yeah, we need to add just a little bit of up. That should be fine. Let's go ahead and get on the power. We'll release the brakes. Power set. Airspeed's alive. There's 65 knots. Let's continue climbing out. All we really had was that tree initially on our departure end of the runway. We're nice and clean on the aircraft, so we're just going to keep on rolling. Keep the speed up. We're through about 500 feet, so let's pitch down just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and activate the autopilot here. It's going to take over just down to about 600 feet per minute until we hit 100, and we'll just click this flight level change. There we go. It's going to start us on up and over. Now on the heading mode, we're going to bring it to the right. About 250. Make sure we clear this ridgeline and kind of give us this valley to continue to climb through. You know what? We're going to come right even further. We're going to go 260 on the heading. So that was good. We did a no flap departure there. Still able to rotate 5,000 feet. We were still able to rotate 65 knots. So I think being a little bit of a baby with the way the flight model is on my rotation speed, if we really had to, we could get it at least out of some of the shorter fields. Just need to kind of let it take off whenever it feels settled and ready to go. And now just want to keep an eye on this ridgeline. Once we kind of clear the top of about here, seems like the highest point on it, we can start to the left again. We'll jump right back over it, and that should be pretty much good into Tabubil. Or we could fly it over to where it's a little bit lower over here and then cut to the left either way. I think what we're going to do is we're going to manually fly it right over the top of this thing instead of getting closer to that cloud. We're going to go ahead and fly it over here where we got a little bit more clearance. Through 8,000 feet now. Just keeping the climb up. As we're passing over the top of it. Go ahead and bring it back to the right. Okay, now the last ridge it looks like we have to worry about is the one directly in front of us, just sitting above the nose. And then we'll be able to kind of work our way down into the airfield, if I'm not mistaken. Just want to make sure we don't fly into that cloud over there on our right. Looks like it's clear in front of us, and it's kind of clear to the left if we needed it. Wonder actually if it would be worth it's probably just fine to just continue ahead as is. I think what we'll do is we'll sync the heading up. We'll go ahead and reactivate the autopilot. It's capturing 10,500. This should be just fine for the altitude. Cannot get this to click over to what I wanted. Just reactivate that and put it on nav. That way it's going directly from our current position. It's not going to try and fly us over anything else. Not sure why it didn't update on the map, or maybe it's just delayed, but yeah. Just 16 miles away now. We could have kind of swung to the left and gone around this and started our descent down in. But it was kind of fun working the approach in kind of at the last minute, starting our descent and working it. So we will go for that again. I think it's going to be the same deal. We're going to shoot to land runway tree 2. So let's go ahead and set that up on a heading mode. I overshot just a little bit, so we'll put the heading on tree 20. Once we clear this ridge, I think we can start down. We've got to get an idea of what the clouds are looking like in front of us. All right. Perfect. Let's go ahead and set an altitude. And let's start our descent. Let's pull this power back. Start a descent 4 minutes away. The airplane in a 1,000 foot per minute descent down to 2,600 feet. You see this big ridge here. We might just manually fly it off to the left a little bit. Make sure we clear that. Increase the rate of descent just a little bit more. Honestly, we could get on over to the river there, and that takes us all the way in to Tree 2. But if we could just straight up clear, which I think we will, we're just going to clear the top of this ridge. We'll just fly right on over it. Alright, so we are heading directly for the airfield basically right now. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to bring the plane down to the left. Go right for the river, which we could see snaking all the way down through, up to the right, and it goes down directly into the airfield. We found out last time it basically lines you all the way up with Tree 2. So we're going to go ahead and start that instead of doing the circuit kind of in that tight little area where we did whenever we first came into Tabubil. We're going to come out here where it's a little bit more open, a little less terrain around, and we can fly the approach in. So right now we're really not far from the field at all, just a couple miles. It's going to be right there off our right wing. You can see the town and the airstrip and the river all the way down there. So we're going to make a circuit out over here and continue to drop our altitude. Got about 2,500 feet to go. See if we can't get the field in sight once again. There it is. Nice and clear. It doesn't look like we should have any clouds or anything in our way. We can go approach flaps below 150, which we already are. Full flaps 125. We're going to be shooting for, let's shoot for 70. 70 seemed to work pretty well for the approach last time, so we'll shoot for 70 knots once again on the approach in. Alright, we are in the left-hand turn here, just past the river. We are going to line ourselves up with the river and start to fly in for runway Tree 2. You see the field just coming into view. It's right there off our nose. We're right about 125 knots. We don't need to slow it down too much just yet. Our altitude's good. Go ahead and go approach flaps out. I apologize for all the stuttering if it's coming through on the video. I've been playing with settings to try and sort it out, but I think one of the latest patches is really ultimately to blame. Haven't changed much in the settings other than to try and fix it. Anyways, we will suffer through. We're about ready to go full flaps here. Alright, speed is good. Altitude looks good. Our glide slope is decent, despite all the stutters. looks like it has a fit. Okay, despite it all, a nice touchdown. Back into Taboobill. I don't know what its problem is. But yeah. Overall, that was a really fun flight up until the approach there. So sorry about the stutters. I am honestly, I'm probably not going to fly anymore until I figure that out, because that is super frustrating for me. I'm sure it is very frustrating for you all as well, so my apologies on that. Either way, I do hope you enjoyed the flight into Telefomin. That was super fun. That was super cool. That's one of the reasons I put up with the stutters like we're getting. If they're... I have to imagine they're coming through on the video, unfortunately. But it is frustrating. The only thing I can think of that I haven't tried yet is maybe it is my my working title mod I have for the G1000, or a mod interfering with it. I might have to double check that and see if I can fix it. Either way, enough complaining about that all. Let's go ahead and log the flight real quick. So let's set the parking brake, got the client up, and there it goes. Aircraft is now back at Taboobill, just like that. I think that was under 50 minutes to and from, and climbing up over 10,000 feet each time. I had a lot of fun with that. Like I said, just want to try and fix the stutters. If you do enjoy this, despite some of the lagginess and everything like that, you want to continue to explore Papua New Guinea with me, let me know in the comments below. Consider giving the video a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. As always, thank you all so much for being here, watching the video, enjoying these flights with me, even if they are an absolute stutter fest sometimes. Again, my deepest apologies. I hope you all did enjoy, though. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.